If you're ready for epic intimacy in your relationships, you're tired of trying to figure it out alone, and would love direct support to get you there, go ahead and DM us on Instagram the word intimacy. Our Instagram handle is Pleasure Positive Living. You can also go ahead and email us if you prefer, and the word is intimacy.
Okay, I gotta be honest. This new microphone you got makes your voice sound so sexy, Sugar.
It's really hot.
It's really hot.
I'm so excited.
I agree.
You're just like really talking into the mic.
And before we hopped on this episode, we have a very, very special guest for you today. We're gonna get to Heather in just a minute, but I was just sharing with her that my wedding has been, I just got, for those of you who've been longtime listeners, I'm married. It's happened.
What? She put a ring on it.
This is actually the first episode we've done since my wedding, and we are going to do a full wedding episode on, what it looks like to build a relationship and to let go of timelines. Like, I got married at 37 years old. I don't believe in timelines or what the fucking patriarchy tells you should be your timeline. But there are some details that I'm not going to share on the podcast that I'm only going to share on our Patreon. So if you want the nitty gritty of all the shit that went down behind the scenes at my wedding, sign up for our Patreon and you can hear that. We're going to have that conversation. I can't wait to share. Sugar was there. She was my lifesaver, and I can't wait to
I cannot
see
wait
Katie's
to hear
reaction.
it all.
It was like everything that went wrong could.
As it
Was
does
it
with
kind of
weddings.
like your proposal?
Oh,
Ish?
yes. It's been like my love story. And I'm like, what is the universe trying to tell me? But,
Surrender.
Surrender. It's trying to surrender. And in the Patreon, I'm also going to share my vows. So if you want to hear my vows to my partner and all the behind the scene details, make sure to sign up for Patreon. The link is in the show notes. We're going to get into the behind the scenes, but I will also, for all of our longtime listeners, do a wedding episode. So either way, you'll get the scoop. So.
Aw, I love that. I know. I'm still waiting to hear. So I'm very excited about our guest today because she is revolutionizing sex education, and that is my favorite thing. She is presented at the White House on international trade and is recognized as the top 50 women in wellness. So she collaborates with medical professionals worldwide to research and develop products for various fields, including urology, pelvic health, dermatology, and radiation oncology. I'm getting so turned on. She's a CEO of a company that specializes in organic nutritional supplements and skincare products derived from aloe vera that we have all tried, and we really love them. And we're going to tell you all about that too. And I had, this intro is long, but I love this quote from her. The movement that she aspires to create addresses the pervasive gaps in comprehensive sexual education for women worldwide, recognizing the pervasive stigmas and cultural barriers that impede female access to crucial sex health knowledge. Please welcome Heather Florio from Desert Harvest.
Ladies. Thank you so much for having me and for that wonderful introduction.
We are so happy to have you here. So let's talk about pervasive stigmas and cultural barriers that
Let's talk.
impede access to critical
no.
sexual health education.
Wait, I want to know when she was at the White House and who was president.
The last year of Obama,
2016, right?
2016, I think it was. Yeah.
That was I was like, it had to have been Obama.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, what was that like?
It was actually pretty
so
epically
curious.
amazing.
Like,
I had been asked to speak on a small business panel, and it was, I was one of very few women in a room, very typical for me, in that kind of sense. And I was there to kind of represent the voice of small business within our country and kind of give a voice. They didn't know that my voice also involves sex and everything else like that, but hey, and
wait, did you talk
Surprise.
about sex at
of
the White
course I
House? Heather,
did.
you're
Of
blowing my
course I
mind.
did.
Of course she did.
And it was
Yeah.
like this
I
round
love it.
table all day, and in government, it was an epic experience to be an experience and have a voice like that. But then you realize, I think also in some cases, how dim the voice can be, because we spent all day putting this amazing plan together for what was supposed to be the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It was this like, trade agreement that was going to give us, access to Asia and in a way that we've never had before. And we spent all day doing it. And then we go to this cocktail party, and one of the people is all like, this is never getting through. Like, this is his last year. I don't know why you guys spent all day doing this. And someone said this to me, and I was like, it's like, wow, I feel really disheartened right now. And that was my last. It was, and it was like, okay, this is my last foray into politics at this point. So I kind of get involved here and there, and involved, especially when it comes to education, and changing on how we educate our youth, especially from a sexual health perspective. So those are usually the times I chime in now, where I feel like my voice can hopefully make some difference. So
What a fun little
yeah,
behind the scenes story.
and
I love it.
So back to pervasive stigmas
I
and
know. I
cultural
was like,
barriers.
exactly.
and there's a gift shop in the basement.
Perfect
There you
segue.
go, of the White House. There's a secret gift shop in the White House. Yes, I learned that and
Really?
got to go get all of my Obama gear before Obama was gone. So yeah.
That's
for you.
amazing. They're like,
That's
get your
really cool.
get your
Yeah,
swag bag
yeah.
on the way out.
All right, goal for us at Clit Talk. We're gonna make our way
that
to the
would be
White
awesome.
House.
Hey, it only takes a couple people to make it there to
Yeah.
make a difference for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Amazing.
That's amazing. So I'd really actually love to start with the story behind Desert Harvest and how it got started. I love the family story, and you guys really came to the rescue for one of your family members. So can you share with our audience how this all
so Desert
came
Harvest is
about?
really rooted in women's health, and that is because of how our company was founded. My aunt had a disease called interstitial cystitis, and predominantly about 75% women, only about 25% men. And imagine it, they have no lining of their bladder. So it is like a constant UTI, the most painful UTI you've ever had that never goes away. And this affects 8 to 12 million men and women in the United States alone. And so it's very underrepresented, underrecognized. And you can imagine when we started Desert Harvest 30 years ago in 1993, it was worse. All in your head. This disease isn't real. It doesn't even exist. This is all your mental health. Go to a psychologist. Like there was no options, and not much more today, but a lot more than there was back then. And so we started trying to search for something to help my aunt. She was staying with us. She was trying to get different treatments at the Mayo Clinic, things like that. Nothing was working, and went to some random natural products health conference, picked up some random bottle of aloe vera. She took the whole thing because she's read about a lot of the components, the anti-inflammatory, the analgesic properties. And she slept through the night, which for an IC patient, they void like 50 to 80 times a day. So sleeping is very intermittent. And so we immediately knew that there was something here. But aloe vera naturally has what's called anthraquinones in it. They're like latex chemicals, and they can be an irritant long term. So we developed a patented formula 30 years ago to make it safe to take for long term use and in high doses. And in our medical studies, we've had like an 87.5% response rate of some or complete relief of all symptoms with just taking our capsules with no side effects. And so we've been doing that. That's kind of what started our company. and started our mission in women's health and rooting and grounding from there. And obviously, as we grew in women's health, we grew into pelvic health, sexual health, pelvic floor physical therapy was
Of
just,
course.
I mean, in the 90s, it was almost non-existent. In the early 2000s, we would go to a conference and maybe there'd be 75 of us, including the exhibitors. And so it's been great to watch women's health really grow.
Mm. And can you tell us a little bit about how it's harvested, like how you do keep it so sustainable in higher doses for
Yeah, so
long time
we literally follow
frames?
our aloe vera all the way from field to bottle. So part of our patented process involves not just how we process it, but also how we grow it. So we grow it in volcanic soil. We're at a base of
Hmm.
a volcano in Mexico, and we do that specifically because it increases the nutrient content. Everything for us is about maximizing nutrients. We're harvesting, so we actually are very sustainable. Aloe vera is naturally hydrophilic, so it doesn't matter whether it gets too much, too little rain. And we harvest just the outer leaves so that it continues to regenerate and grow so we don't have to replant. And we take just the outer leaves and start processing within 20 minutes because the minute you cut an aloe vera leaf off of a plant, like if you've ever seen the aloe leaves in the grocery store in the Whole Foods or whatever, worthless water, just FYI. Because the minute you cut an aloe vera,
I want to get into that
yeah,
more.
Yeah.
it's just aloe vera is 95% water. So because it is a hydrophilic plant. And so when you cut that leaf off, malic acid immediately begins to eat away at the nutrients. And so you're within 6 to 8 hours, there's no nutrients left in that leaf. And so literally water.
But if you had like your own aloe vera plant at home and you cut off a little bit and immediately
Yes,
used
yes,
it,
yes,
you'd
yes.
be okay?
That's different. You just want to, like I
Okay.
said,
Okay.
it's within 6 to 8 hours that all the nutrients are dead. So the minute you cut it off,
Got
it's
it.
going to start eating away at the nutrients.
So you briefly mentioned the benefits of aloe and your products with pelvic floor health. That is a huge topic here, and my sister just had a baby. I'm curious to know what are the benefits of your products with pelvic floor health, and also like what are the other types of people, what are the other symptoms that would benefit
Oh,
from your
yeah.
products?
So we have a whole host of products. So separate, aloe vera goes into every single one of our products. So we have an entire supplement line. We have the aloe vera in every one of those supplements to enhance the nutrient content. So typically you waste about 75% of your nutrients when you take a supplement. Your body only retains maybe 25%. So the aloe vera helps you retain more of that. But then when you get into our pelvic and sexual health solutions, we're utilizing the aloe vera with tools in a completely different way. And so, for instance, like our Aloe Glide is going to be 100% natural sexual lubricant and vaginal moisturizer. So we have women that actually can just insert it just to keep the tissues healthy. And then the other important thing about our lubricant that every woman should know is osmolality when it comes to sexual lubricants. So we think pH, and we all know about our pH and that we should have an acidic biome and
Oh yeah.
maintain about 4.5. But with lubricants, osmolality is critical, and that is how the fluid flows in and out of your vaginal wall, your epithelial cell layer of your vaginal wall. And anytime the minute you start introducing a chemical ingredient into your biome, anything with chemicals in it, you're starting to actually eat away at that vaginal wall. So that is your barrier of protection to STIs, bacteria, yeast. Like this is your protection barrier right here, and it just starts to dry out with chemical ingredients. Anything that is not isoosmolar. So the osmolality of the vagina is 290. and you only want your products to be plus or minus 80 points. And I will tell you right now, in the entire world, there are two vaginal lubricants that are isoosmolar, truly isoosmolar, and we are one of them.
What's the other
Good
one?
Clean Love.
Good cleanup. So I understood about 70% of what you just said, but what I'm really getting is if I want a wet ass pussy, I should just use your lube.
Definitely, definitely. And make it wet before. That's why we say insert, because it's gonna, aloe vera goes down through all of the layers of the tissue and helps push moisture up. So yes, if you want a wet ass pussy, that is how you make it happen. You can do it just to keep those tissues healthy. So you're making your own moisture during a sex, so you have your moisture.
Yeah. So I love what you're saying, because one of the big themes we have on here is called pre-gaming by yourself.
Priming.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think
It
of
is
the word.
pre-gaming.
It is like pre-gaming.
Also,
Okay, so
Priming.
so we've talked a lot
pre-game
about
my pussy.
I kind of like it better.
Watch
It
me
makes more
pre-game my
sense.
pussy.
Like, you know
pre-game
exactly
by
what it
yourself.
is.
Yeah, so priming. So my question is, like, so for our listeners who are huge fans of priming, this sounds like a great product. Like, how soon before like an intimate experience should they be putting it in? Like if they're fans of priming, like how long does it take to interact with them before an intimate experience?
It's pretty instantaneous. Within a few minutes, it's going to start interacting with
Cool.
with your biome, help to reset, and then just help to get your own moisture going at the same time.
Cool.
This
Madison.
whole wet ass pussy conversation really got me going. And
The pre-gaming wet ass pussy conversation.
pre-game wet ass pussy. And the new season of Big Mouth is out, season 7, and Megan Thee Stallion is in it. And there's a scene where Megan Thee Stallion is a hormone monster, and she's sitting in the rain eating a pot of macaroni. And if you are familiar with the rap song Wet Ass Pussy, it's like macaroni in a pot, that's some wet ass pussy. And it was just such a, but what I really am getting out of this conversation is that it's actually aloe vera in a pouch, that's some wet ass pussy.
Yes.
Oh.
I think we should tell Megan that it's actually, Megan
Madison.
Thee Stallion, that it's actually aloe vera.
You want to hear
not
something
macaroni.
funny? My
Hang on.
husband,
Yes.
my husband worked on that music video.
Oh, that's right. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, he comes
No,
home
we
one
knew
day.
that.
He comes
I
home
didn't
and he
know
was
that.
like, I worked with this girl and she had all this security. Like, I'm like, who was it? And he's like, Megan Thee Stallion. I'm like, babe, she's a huge pop star. That's why
He didn't know she
had
was.
so much security.
Who does
Oh
this
my
bitch think
God.
she is? She's got all this security.
He was like, I've never heard of her. I'm like, that's because you were out
Like-
of touch, babe. Sorry.
Get with the program. Madison, I just keep thinking about the video, the tutorial that you gave our Patreon listeners with that using this aloe glide.
Yes. See, you really, if you're not a
she has
member
a
of our
whole-
Patreon, this is the problem, is that you're not seeing all these amazing things. So we
Give 'em a little
totally
tease.
have a tutorial and tips of how to use the Desert Harvest products, because this
We've been
here's the
playing
thing.
with
Once you
them.
go Desert Harvest, like you're not going to go back though. I cannot use any other lube.
Okay,
We need more. I just need like an entire like one of my filing cabinets just to be Desert Harvest lube, because I'm going through it really fast. And so we have these incredible how to use them with our tips and tricks of sexual tips using these products. So if you want to experience content like that, head over to our Patreon. The link to our Patreon is in our show notes here of this episode.
I love it. I love it. You blew my mind with some of those sex tips. And then Heather, so you have traveled all over the world with sex educators to present at lectures to women who don't have access to proper education. Can we kind of segue there? Like, what are the things that you're really seeing on the ground. Like, what do people really need
Oh gosh,
worldwide?
education, education, like literally just education. It is
On
anatomy, basic
anatomy or
anatomy. I
mhm.
mean, so I taught last year one of the first pelvic and sexual health courses in Turkey last year, and that was an eye-opening experience. So 40 we taught 41 clinicians, 40 of them women, and one man, and it was such an amazing experience because I got to sit down with some of these girls afterwards and kind of video them and learn about what they learned. And we had courses where they got to really learn the musculature, and labs where they got to touch each other. And for them to sit there and say, as clinicians, this is the first time I've ever touched another woman's vagina in my life, and is just mind blowing. And they said, now I can go home and I'm going to test these this out on my mother, and I'll be able to help my mother with her pelvic floor, and I will be able to let her
Mhm.
understand her body, which she's never been able to. And so to be able to do this in a society where necessarily, they may not have access to this, to be able to get that information out there is amazing. Is similarly, we're doing an amazing program that this next year in Peru. We're going into Cusco, and we're actually bringing indigenous women out of the
Mm.
mountains. And so it's literally word of mouth. And so we have to just give them like three
Wow.
days and see how many show up each day. And we're going to get to teach them about their bodies. But I was literally told from the look, it is like teaching a 5-year-old about their body. Is literally, they said, start from the ground floor
Wow.
up. They know nothing. They know absolutely nothing. So I think that this is gonna, those are the kind of experiences that I want to bring around the world. In December, I'm getting to go to a remote area in Africa, in Gambia, to help with a health clinic. And I'm thinking about the different like vaginal models I'm going to bring, and the different tools that I can show and educate. And I mean, we're literally going all the way up the Gambia River to the middle of nowhere, and to be able to have these experiences, to be able to have the ability to bring this to other women around the world. I wish this is all I could do forever, is just educate, educate, educate.
Oh my God. That is I
Oh,
feel like crying right now. That is so inspirational.
It really is.
And it
yeah.
makes me want to ask you, because I can tell that this is really an authentic mission for you. And I know why the three of us think that this conversation is important. Why is this conversation so important?
I
Why are you
think
so
that
committed to
as
this?
as probably maybe even a lot of you and a lot of the listeners came from an environment. I grew up in a household that preached very much Christian abstinence based, fear-based education. And I didn't really learn a lot.
Mhm.
It was a self-discovery of my own. And so I think for me to be able to get out and learn for myself, and then experience, you talk about being married. I've been married to my husband. We got together when we were 19, and we've been married 20 going on 25 years. And so for us, we've been able to explore our bodies and pleasure and understand together, which is something that has built my formative. And then to be able to go into sex education and educate others, I don't, no woman should have to be that, without that education, without those tools, without that understanding of their body, and to feel shame for it in any way, shape, or form. it is so important to me. I'm even doing, like, we're supporting a lot of educational programs in regards to youth because I don't want this to happen. So we're doing one where it's called Raising Sexually Healthy Children. It's from birth to 9 years old. And so most people, you can sign up to take these clinics and learn how to teach your children about their bodies without it being shameful. Let them explore their bodies without it being shameful. And because we don't realize that up until 9 years old, it's not sex to them. It's just exploration. It's just their minds literally can't formatively think about it as sex until after the age of 9. So for them, it's just about exploring their bodies, understanding what feels good, what doesn't feel good, and to take away that shame for that. And then on the same thing, we're also supporting this youth sexpert program, which is brilliant. This amazing girl, Tara, she lives in Brooklyn. She was going to high school. The TV show Sex Ed came out, and she says, how, I have no resources. I have nowhere to go to get definitive information. You go to the internet and it's all over the place. It's one thing says one says the other. How can I get true clinical based education that could help myself and help my peers? So what she did,
This is
yes,
a
well,
current
now
high school
she is
student?
out of high school, but she
Oh my God.
started this. She just graduated like
Okay.
a year or so ago, a couple years ago.
Oh my God.
Oh,
We
you
need to have her
do.
on the show.
It's called the Youth
Oh yeah.
Sexpert
Yeah, I
Program.
will put you in
Wow.
touch.
Yes.
Oh
She
my
is a
God.
brilliant girl because she took that model of
Yes.
sex ed. So what she is doing is now is created a program where if you're in high school with your parents' permission, you can take her course, and her course is all based, clinician based. So the clinicians had all these sex experts, sex therapists, the Kinsey Institute, all of this information is definitive, actual self help information. These kids can now, in high school, with their parents' permission, take her courses, and then now be the sexperts for their school, because it's not like the educational system's ever going to fix our sex ed. So she found a way around it. I love it.
That is
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah, there are
inspired.
amazing people doing amazing
It
things all over the world to change how we educate sex.
It's really amazing the work you're doing. And we do have a discount code from Desert Harvest for all of our listeners. Madison, did you want to tell us about that so that they can all try these products? Oh, you're muted, babe.
Oh.
Oh. Sorry.
What's she gonna say?
What are you
I've just
gonna
been talking over
say?
here on mute. Yeah, so I mean, we're such a huge fan of Desert Harvest. The values of Desert Harvest as a family-owned business, and also just the connection came through Fran Drescher and Cancer Schmancer. My
course.
mother's the executive director of that nonprofit. And, when it comes to preventing chronic illness, it's really important that we look at the ingredients in these products that we're putting in our body, on our body, and around our body. And that's sort of that's the idea of Cancer Schmancer as a preventative cancer organization.
Yeah.
So of course they would be aligned with, a non-toxic product. And here at Pleasure Positive Living, we really value that too. So of course we've aligned and we've created a partnership. We are now connected. This is now our chosen sexual wellness product line. And you'll hear us give all of our sex tips about how to use these products, how we've incorporated them in our lives and our Patreon. And if you'd like to go ahead and order some products today, we have a code for you. You'll get 10% off when you use the word pleasure at the checkout. It's all caps, pleasure. We're going to go ahead and put that for you in the show notes as well. We hope you enjoy them as much as we have.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good. So good.
I will say this, like, changing to all organic products completely changed my vaginal health and my sex life. That's why we were so excited to partner with you. Like, all three of us, I had such chronic yeast and UTIs that, like, Monistat
Yeah.
didn't work for me anymore. I had to find like a natural, like I started using boric acid, you know? And so the three of us, we only bring on products that we truly align with. And that's why we were so excited, because like using all natural products in our vulvas has like changed our whole vulva health. And your product is just so
And
in
we've
alignment
also
with
got
that.
bum bums now too. So if you want to go to the back door.
Ooh, wait, what is that?
I know Katie does.
What is that? I have the moisturizing, cleansing personal towelettes,
So
and I have the
the
lube.
Aloe
What is
Fresh
Bum
wipes that you
Bums?
just showed, you could take those on the go anywhere, just to wipe, to clean up, keep things rebalanced and reset really quickly. They're amazing. And yeah, I
Oh
have
my
them
gosh.
like in the
are.
car, bathroom, everywhere
Literally,
I go.
I'm obsessed with those wipes. I'm like a chronic wiper. Even after I pee, I like to wipe, and these are the best cleansing towelettes.
They were a lifesaver at Burning
Oh,
Man
yeah.
this year.
So I remember being like, I used all mine right before Burning Man, so I emailed your guys, whoever we're in touch with. I'm like, is there any way you can like ship me products? And
But I had some
For
left
Burning
over.
Man.
Yeah, they kept our pussies fresh. You gotta keep your pussy fresh in the dust.
oh my goodness,
That's awesome.
yeah, best pussy
Heck
wipes on the
yeah.
market.
And
Best pussy wipes.
Oh, for sure, hands
compostable
down.
and
So-
100% made of bamboo viscous.
That's why
course
we were
they
allowed to
are.
bring them.
So, and then Bum Bums,
Amazing.
that is meant for, so with the anal biome, completely different than the vaginal biome. And most people don't know that. You never want to use a vaginal lubricant in the anal biome, because the anal biome, the epithelial cell layer, your barrier of protection in the anus, is 10 times more sensitive. It literally falls out the instant it's exposed to anything acidic, and which vaginal lubricants are meant.
It
So
falls
same
out?
with your vagina. When you don't use an isoosmolar product, your vaginal wall begins to slowly dry out, and over time it just literally falls out, and you've just lost your barrier of protection. And so it has to rebuild. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And
Yeah, that's when you're like, I think it's time to reapply.
it fell out.
It fell out. Okay, that's good to know.
We started the episode with this.
Yeah.
If you don't use our products, your pussy's gonna fall out.
No, the lube is gonna fall out of your pussy.
Gosh. Yeah.
This is how misinformation gets spread. Is it your pussy that's gonna fall
Or
out, or is it the
it's the
lube that falls out?
epithelial cell
the
layer of
lube.
your vagina. Your vaginal wall falls out. Literally, it dry. It does.
Oh.
It is your
Yeah,
pussy.
it's your pussy.
It
That's
is
what
real.
she's saying.
It literally dries out. So that is your barrier of protection I was mentioning to STIs, yeast, bacteria. It literally is your barrier of protection, your vaginal wall. And it will dry out as you introduce it to chemical ingredients and literally fall out. So it's something that has to regenerate, restore your tissue health, to regenerate that. And so in the anal biome, you introduce an acidic product. It's so over time, with the vaginal wall, it can be over time that it slowly dries out and falls out. Whereas the anal biome, you introduce something acidic, bye-bye. It's literally coming out. And so you need bye-bye to the
what?
epithelial cell layer, your anal wall. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow. Okay.
that is why,
All right.
and so that's why
Good to know.
most people, when you're talking about the anal biome, you're using silicone, because silicone is alkaline. It is not meant to ever go in a vagina. A silicone is alkaline at like right around 7.5 on the pH scale. And so silicone is effective, is usually typically the most effective thing for the anal biome, because it's going to maintain that slipperiness and be alkaline at the same time. So that's why we created Bum Bums, because we wanted to create something for the first time that was all natural and maintained that high pH which is we are the first lubricant that has actually been able to maintain that high alkalinity while also being 100% natural. We developed a formulation, and so
So
that
amazing.
just came out in August.
All right.
I need to try that because that's
Yeah.
literally
We
all
need
I
those.
use lube for.
Yes.
We need those.
So for people who are interested in not having their
Yeah.
pussies and assholes fall out, where can they follow you? Where can they keep in
So
touch
yeah,
with you?
we're our website.
Help us all.
I feel like it's actually a whop, like a wet ass healthy pussy at this point.
Wop.
WAP.
A whop.
I'm gonna have to tell my marketing team this is their new tagline, WAP, because you don't want your pussy and anus to fall out. Got it.
Honestly, like who wants that?
Yeah.
I mean, give the people what they want.
Supporting WAPs around the
they'll
world.
know what you mean.
Whops around the world. How can all the wannabe whops follow you, keep in touch with you, find out about
So
all
they
your
can
amazing
definitely
products?
visit us at our website. Easiest of all is desertharvest.com. We're also on Instagram, Desert Harvest Aloe Vera, TikTok, all of that. But definitely, we are also available anytime to answer questions. That's one of the core mission values is education, obviously. So my customer service staff is very knowledgeable. They've spent hours on the phone with people before, just because that is what's core to us. So if you have questions, you want answers, you can also email us at info@desertharvest.com. And we're more than happy to help.
Well, we really, really appreciate you coming on. We believe in ethical products, and we can tell that you are very science-backed based, and your commitment is authentic. And that's why it was so important for us to have you on today. And we just really appreciate you coming on and taking the time and educating us on what a whop is. We're just, it was so fun to be with you today. And just so all of our listeners know, she had to like leave her office. She was like in a snowstorm. She was like committed to being here in Maine, like in the middle of the snow to be here.
It's not sunny. We're all in LA.
Where
are you?
A dark and stormy night in Maine with Stephen King down the road.
Yeah. Exactly. Amazing.
That's how fantasy could start there, I feel like.
Yeah. Choose your own sexual
Stephen
adventure.
King, it sounds a little bit more BDSM, I think.
So,
yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We like that too.
do.
Well, anyways, Heather, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have links in our show notes to everybody. Katie, Madison, is there anything you guys want to add?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you so much for coming
so
on our
much.
show. Gosh,
Yeah.
love you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for all our samples. We
Yes.
love
Hop
them.
on our Desert Harvest bandwagon
yes.
with us.
Yes.
WAP.
Join the WAP.
The Whop King.
Yeah.
And get your discount.
And get your
Whop
discount. All right. And with that, Clitorati, we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, Heather, stay on with us until it says upload complete.